Well, Victorian Opposition leader John Pesutto signed his own death warrant today. I mean, how thick do you need to be? As the man who created this whole Moira Deeming saga, he then got towed up in court, as we know, because of it, and then he used his casting vote to keep the thing going for another calendar year. Now, as you may have heard today, there was a party room vote for the Victorian Liberal Party to readmit Moira Deeming after Pesutto was found to have defamed her in the process of expelling her from the party in 2023. The vote was split 14-14, giving Pesutto the casting vote, which he used to block Deeming from coming back to the Libs. That he even thought it appropriate to use his casting vote in that way, given that he is the most conflicted man in the room and it's his fault that they're in this pickle in the first place, shows just how arrogant and politically inept this bloke is. I mean, in effect, he voted twice. He was one of the 14 that voted against it, and then he voted against it again. As soon as that 14-14 vote came through, he was cooked. He should have just done the honourable thing and conceded defeat and used his casting vote to let her back into the party. That was about the only thing he could have done to at least attempt to save his leadership. At least it would have been an admission that he got things wrong and that he's man enough to put them right. But today he chose the low road instead of the high road, and it will cost him his leadership, and good riddance. Ms Deeming said in a statement today, as someone who was duly elected to serve in the Liberal parliamentary party room, I am deeply disappointed by the decision by some Liberals today to continue to keep me out, despite a federal court judge ruling that the basis for my expulsion was a lie sold to them by the opposition leader. As Justice O'Callaghan made crystal clear, there was never any factual basis for my exclusion, and I believe that the party's chances at coming elections, state and federal, would be vastly improved if the leader was man enough to apologise and accept me back into the party room from which I should never have been excluded. She said his inability to admit his mistakes speaks volumes about his character and fitness for our state's highest office, and that he had significant personal conflict of interest in the outcome today. Today, he not only voted against my readmission, but also, when the outcome was 14-14, he used his casting vote to prevent my readmission, thereby effectively voting twice. This is hardly surprising conduct, having regard to his conduct over the last 18 months, much of which was criticised in the judgment. Now, I don't know whether Pesutto thought this would save his hide, but it won't. I mean, the bloke is so delusional that he said the vote concludes the matter.
This concludes the matter of the membership or otherwise of the parliamentary party. No, I think the matter has been bookended today. And today marks a bookend to this discussion.
I mean, seriously, as they say, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. Now, the party is now completely divided, literally down the middle. The Herald Sun state political editor Shannon Deary posted on X today that supporters of John Pesutto say today's Deeming vote will likely precipitate an end to his leadership. That's his supporters. There is a view that a single potential challenger now has the numbers to launch a successful spill. However, Pesutto is expected to face increasing pressure to resign first. The man has cooked himself, and in the process, he's cooking the chances of Jacinta Allen being defeated in 2026. He makes the party look like a rabble. They need to clean the joint out and unite behind a new leader who can go hammer and tongs into the next election. A leader, perhaps, that people actually know.
Do you know much about John Pesutto?
No, have no idea who he is.
You know?
John who? yeah. You don't hear much about him, so yeah. I think there's a lot of them when they're in opposition and whatever, they just hide in the background.
I don't know much about him either. Is he local or...?
He's the state opposition leader, would you believe?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't like him. Pesutto, yeah, I have heard of him. Yeah, I don't like him.
Boy, he's making waves, that fella. I mean, Victorians are begging for an opposition that they can actually believe in. They've been begging for it for a long time. I can tell you, because I was living in Victoria at the time, that Daniel Andrews was not a popular man at the 2022 state election, but no one had any confidence in the opposition. They just didn't feel like they could vote for them. At least Andrews, even if you didn't like him, was a leader. And the coalition are now ahead of Jacinta Allen's government in the polls, but they have a snowball's chance in hell of ever winning government if they keep behaving like this. So the question is, why does he keep digging his heels in? I think James Campbell hit the nail on the head in the Herald Sun today. He wrote, quote, "Why he has not simply accepted that in this matter the judge's words was final is completely mysterious. Why he is clinging so desperately to his job is alas less mysterious. On Thursday, the costs order made by Justice David O'Callaghan was made public. It shows that His Honour has ordered Pesutto to pay Deeming's legal bills on an indemnity basis for everything she has incurred since last February. On top of that, he has to find the money to pay his own lawyers and the $315,000 he's been ordered to pay Deeming in damages. With Deeming supporters saying her bills are likely to run close to $3 million, it's hard to see how Pesutto could be up for anything less than $4 million and probably a great deal more. It is an understatement to say his chances of finding benefactors prepared to put their hands in their pocket to get him out of this mess will be greatly improved if he retains the leadership of the Liberal Party. So he's hanging on to his job as opposition leader, not because it's good for the party, but because it's good for him. The absolute arrogance. I mean, to think that Deeming offered to settle for $100,000 and Pesutto said no, and now we're here. Again, the arrogance. Of course, if he can't pay the money, then he'll have to declare bankruptcy, and then he'll have to leave Parliament because a bankrupt cannot be a member of Parliament. I mean, imagine being so pig-headed in your hatred of a woman in your own party that you split that party down the middle, kill your political career, and then potentially drive yourself into bankruptcy. It is just extraordinary. Pesutto is stuffed with a capital F, if you catch my drift. No matter how much he tries to cling on, his day will come, as it should. And I should warn him, the longer he hangs on, the worse the fall will be.